Hi everyone, my name's Kobe and welcome to my YouTube channel and my first video. I really love all nerdy things. I love Star Wars, I love Marvel, I love video games, comics, Legos, action figures. So I am going to be making content about that. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to be doing specifically yet, but I have a lot of ideas, whether it's Lego reviews, movie reviews, TV reviews, or whatever, you know. I have a pretty extensive collection of, you guys can see this stuff right here, but this is my brand new stuff. I have a pretty big collection already, I just haven't really been posting it. I have a large Lego collection, I collect some lightsabers, swords, other stuff like that from different fandoms, so I will show all of that eventually if people request it. And before we really get into the bulk of the video, let me tell you a little bit about myself. Come here. Hey. Come here. This is Marshall. This is the king of the castle in this kingdom. So that's one thing about me. My name is Kobe, I'm 17 years old. I've been big into nerdy stuff ever since I was a little kid. I mean, I can remember pretty clearly, like 2016, sitting at school with my friends and debating on who's gonna win Civil War and who's gonna win Batman vs. Superman and stuff like that. And I've collected Legos ever since I was young. I've just started getting into action figures and comic books. I've been a big fan of the MCU for quite a long time. Anyways, to summarize all that, I am pretty much just a big nerd, and I enjoy talking about these subjects with other nerdy people, so if you are interested in that type of content, then I would really appreciate if you could like, comment, and subscribe. Other than that, let's get to the rest of the video. Alright, so let's go through everything we have this week. We have 2 mech Lego sets, Darth Vader and Boba Fett, a buildable Wolverine figure, we have Ahsoka's clone battle pack, and a venomized Groot. And then for my action figures, I have a Grand Admiral Thrawn and a Thanos and a Mark 85 Tony Stark. And for our comics this week, we have X-Men number 25, Astonishing Iceman number 1, Batman Night Terrors number 2, Black Adam Night Terrors number 2, Poison Ivy Night Terrors number 2, and the Joker Night Terrors number 2. Alright, we are going to start with the Lego sets. Well, I got these 2 here. They kind of go together. We got the Boba Fett mech number 75369, and this came in at $16 and came out on August 1st. And this is the Darth Vader mech 75368. This is also $16, came out on August 1st. From the box art, there's, nothing super spectacular, just jetpack, little like spark circle type thing, and then a desert, so nothing super duper special. So for the building portion of these sets, there wasn't anything super spectacular. It felt sort of like the same thing over and over again. I mean, you can't really expect much more from a mech build, but I didn't really enjoy that they used an entire one piece for the arms and the legs, and I don't know, there just wasn't a ton of like variety in what everything looked like. As far as posability goes, it's definitely not great. As you can see, the arms and the legs are one large piece, so those can't move. The feet move, the arms and legs will move like normal. They seem to break off pretty easily, obviously. As far as the minifigure goes for this set, I mean, it's not great. We got, just the typical kind of Boba Fett look. We don't got a side claw thing. As so I don't love that. Just normal kind of face print, nothing super special. Same thing with posability. It's just, you know, one stiff arm and leg piece. So if you can't do that, you can move the feet. I like, you know, the way that they have the lightsaber put in, but other than that, there isn't anything super special. And as far as the minifigure goes, it's alright. It has some actual arm printing, has the white head with a little detail on the back. Let's see, do we have any back detail? Yeah, we have some detail on the back, detail on the legs. So, an alright figure, but not the best Darth Vader figure there has ever been. Okay, so the next set I got is, like I said, 75359, the 332nd Legion Ahsoka's Clone Trooper pack. It comes with 108 pieces. It came out on August 1st for $20. And with the box art of this set, there isn't anything super special. It kind of just shows the troopers fighting and some sort of little battle. It looks like it may be on Mandalore or something like that. But, you know, that's not canon, so. I really liked the building of this set. I thought it was really interesting. I liked the tank a lot. One of my favorite parts was the little kind of skinny part that goes across the top of the tank. I really liked the turret that they made. I thought it was really interesting and new. And I really liked the way the minifigures fit onto the tank and pretty much still showed their guns. So with the details of this set, like I said before, I really liked this like little kind of skinny thing that goes on top of the tank. I like the little like blower thing they have on the back of the tank. I think that looks pretty cool. I like the way they've designed the little blasters to kind of be on their sides. I like the new design of this little turret where it uses this piece upside down. As far as the minifigures go for this set, there isn't anything super special. As you see here, we have Captain Vaughn and 332nd Clone Troopers with Captain Vaughn. There isn't really anything different other than this head visor right here, but for the minifigures, it isn't the greatest. There isn't any arm printing. I believe we've gotten better printings of Ahsoka's helmet before. Overall, isn't super spectacular. I believe there is back printing on there. Yeah, there is, but it isn't anything super new or exciting. The fourth set of this video will be set 76257. Wolverine buildable figure with 327 pieces, coming out on August 1st for $33. There isn't a ton to say about the box art for this buildable Wolverine. It isn't anything super spectacular. It's just some kind of metal-y looking science type screen in the background with him doing some poses, so nothing super spectacular. I really enjoyed building this set. I really thought it was interesting to see how they've kind of changed the new big buildable figures. They seem to have new finger pieces. There was some new aspects to it that I hadn't seen before. It's interesting what they did with Wolverine's head. I'll show a little bit of that later. I like how they designed his torso and how it connects together. I really like how they ended up designing the arms to where they look full, but they can still be, you know, bendable. I like the way they designed the claws. You know, just no complaints with this build. For some of the details and accessories for this set, I really enjoyed, like I said, how they did Wolverine's head. They kind of have him hunched over. I really like these newer finger pieces. I like the way they did his claws and how you can rotate his legs here. I like these little knee braces or kneecaps or whatever. I like these little flares on the boots they did. So overall, the details of this fig are really nice. As far as the posability goes for this fig, I honestly think it's really good. It has these feet they have right here are great. I mean, it's not hard at all to find a way to balance it. I mean, it's not falling over on me. I can move, just takes a little adjusting, and there, bam, now it's not falling over anymore. You can adjust the arms, adjust the head, and just takes little adjustments, and you know, it's not very hard to pose at all. As great of a set as this was, I do think that I would have enjoyed it a little bit more if it had included a minifigure. And I understand why they did not include a minifigure, because they are about to release the Wolverine X-Men 97 minifigure and the CMF series coming in September, I believe. So I understand why they didn't do that, but I think that they probably could have included it in both, and it would have been fine. The last set I have today is set 76249, Venomized Groot, coming in at 630 pieces for $50, and it came out on August 1st. And with the pieces that comes in it, you can build two different models, but not at the same time. One is like half Venomized Groot, and one is a full Venomized Groot. The box art is pretty decent for this Venomized Groot set. I like the little kind of foresty type background that he has going on here. And then on the back for the full Venomized Groot, we have more of a purple, still kind of got that foresty feel, but it's a lot more of a darker and more Venom feel. I really liked building this set. I think they did a really good job at both incorporating both Venom and Groot into this set, and even in the one I chose, which is the full Venom Groot, there are still obviously traces of Groot in the build, and that's good to see. For looking at some of the details of this set, I really liked building, and I really like these little extra little bitey things that he has right here, and incorporating some of these new finger pieces that I used earlier in that Wolverine set, now in black, to kind of make this little flowery feel. I like what they did with the hands, and I like that they still incorporated the greenness of the flowers and little green right here. I like the eyes. They made the eyes almost kind of uneven. They made a very nice mouth that's posable, and you know, just very good details on this Groot Venom hybrid overall. As far as the posability goes for this figure, it's pretty good. It is definitely a little top heavy with this really big head here, but they gave it these clicky, like, leg joints that will make it stick in place, so there won't be as much worry if you can get it in the right position about it falling over, because it will stay in place. And the arms are very easy to move, the head's pretty easy to move. There's lots of posability with these little mouths right here, all three of them. Overall, the posability is pretty good with this figure. Just to go over it again, all the sets I got this week are set 75368, the Darth Vader mech, sets 75369, the Boba Fett mech, set 75359, the 332nd Legion Ahsokas Clone Trooper pack, 76257, the Wolverine buildable figure, and 76249, the Venomized Groot. Alright, and for our action figures this week, again, we have Star Wars The Black Series, Grand Admiral Thrawn, and we have Marvel Legends Series, Avengers Endgame, Iron Man Mark 85, and Thanos. Pause. I forgot to add that the Mark 85 Iron Man and Thanos went for $100 at my local comic shop, but it looked like it was going for about $63 on Entertainment Earth's website, and I got the Grand Admiral Thrawn for $40 at my local comic shop, and it seemed to be going for around the same price on eBay. Nothing super cool about the box art for this action figure. It's just a small picture of Thrawn on the front and a picture of him and a description on the back. Alright, now that we have it unboxed, let's go over the articulation and posability of this fig. It's pretty good. It seems to fit into my face pretty well and not be falling over. I will say that some of these joints are not the easiest to move, especially some of these leg joints, but other than that, you know, it's definitely not too hard to pose. I think there are some really cool poses you can do with it, so pretty good. As far as the accessories for this fig go, they didn't give us very much, but they did give us this nice little blaster that fits right into his hand. You can even get his little finger into the trigger hole there, and it even fits in his little pouch holster thing there. And I like this blaster. It's cute. I like these little points at both ends. So the accessories on this fig are pretty decent. For this box, we have some kind of cool box art. On the side here, we have an Avengers lineup. I can see Star-Lord, Captain America, Thor, Hawkeye, Hulk, a few other people. Pretty much the same thing on the other side. On the back, we have descriptions for each character, both Tony Stark and Thanos, as well as the Avengers Endgame movie poster. As far as the articulation goes for these figures, as with most of the bigger figures, on Thanos, the knee joints and the elbow joints are a little harder to get moving, and it was a little hard to get the accessory in Thanos' hand, but Thanos was much easier to balance than Iron Man, and Iron Man was a little easier to move, but it was a little harder for him to keep that accessory in his hand, and overall, I think the articulation on these two figures are pretty good. There are quite a few accessories for both of these figs. I really enjoyed the Iron Man ones the most. For Iron Man, you can see they have his nano shield, his nano blade. You have two hands right there where you can put the repulsor blasts in there. You have a hand right there that can hold the blade. You have a hand right there that's a fist. We have Tony's normal head. We have Tony with his mask on, and we have damaged Tony. And what I have here is him in his iconic Infinity War pose with all the Infinity Stones. And with Thanos here, we have him with checking his snap, like just from the movie, but it doesn't have any stones in it. And we have this kind of dirty head for him. Up here, we have a head that has his helmet, and we have one of him smiling and one of him being all angry without his helmet on. We have his double-sided blade, and finally, back here, we have a fist of his Nano Infinity Gauntlet with all of the Infinity Stones. I really liked all of these accessories. I think that the shield is really good. I love the details on it. I think the details on the figs are really good. I mean, you can see really good, lining and stuff like that. I mean, like, look at all this on the back. You can see the details on him. You can see the details even in the gauntlet that he's wearing, and the details in the dirt on his face, and even more so on Thanos here. You can see the damage in the battle that has been done to his armor, which you saw in the movie as he was being hit with the lightning, or whenever Captain America was attacking him, his armor kept breaking off, and they did a very good job at showing that. And I really like how they designed his Infinity Gauntlet. Overall, I think the accessories and the details on both of these figs are both very good. Now for our comics for this week. First off, we have Astonishing Iceman number 1. Then we have X-Man number 25. Then we have Night Terror's Batman number 2. Then we have Black Adam Night Terrors number 2. Then we have Poison Ivy Night Terrors number 2. And finally, the Joker Night Terrors number 2. First is Astonishing Iceman number 1, written by Gary Duggan and art by Stefano Castelli. It's part of the Fall of X storyline, and it came out the week of August 2nd for $3.99. This comic takes place directly after the events of this year's Hellfire Gala, which honestly deserves its own video, so go check out that comic if you want to. But to summarize, a mutant hate organization named Orcus attacked and killed most of the X-Men during the Hellfire Gala, supposedly including Iceman. This comic begins with technology trying to turn against humans and identify and kill mutants. And when one man who took a drug that gave him temporary mutant powers called experience was identified as a mutant because he still had the mutant gene in him from the drug, after he was attacked, Iceman came out and froze the drones before kissing the man he saved and very quickly leaving. We first cut to a Orcus satellite tracking Iceman after this happened, and after this attack on the drones, he's now what's called a primary target. And so they will send in somebody called the Cleaner. It is then revealed that Bobby's partner and the Inhuman Romeo went to Antarctica after Bobby's supposed death at the Hellfire Gala, and he reconstructed the Iceman from molecule by molecule. But Iceman is still weak and cannot survive outside of Antarctica for very long. And then to end the comic, we cut back to the Orcus agent, and it shows that they have unleashed the elements of doom on Bobby's mother and his childhood neighborhood. I thought this comic was pretty good. I definitely enjoyed the art, but I do feel like they could have added some more texture to the less colorful pages. I understand the fact that he is in Antarctica, so it's gotta be like Snow White, but once he got into the big castle that he'd kind of designed with his ice, there just really wasn't much detail to look at. I don't know a ton about Iceman. I'm just now really getting caught up with the X-Men comics, and I'm also not sure who Iceman's partner Romeo is, but I like him. I like his empathetic powers, and I'm excited to see how Bobby is going to react to the attack of his home and his family. Next is X-Men number 25, also written by Gary Duggan and art by Stefano Castelli, also part of the Fall of X storyline, and it came out the week of August 2nd for $3.99. This also takes place directly after the events of the Hellfire Gala, and we first flash back to see the time Kitty discovered that she can't use the Krakoan portals like the other X-Men, and it shows how it made her feel very left out and alone. We then see Kate from right after the Hellfire Gala go back to the old Westchester mansion and get a sword given to her by her old master Ogun. We then see Dr. Stasis, one of the heads of Orcus, holding a large Orcus rally where he boasts about his victory against the mutants and that he and Orcus are happy to fill the void left by S.H.I.E.L.D. to protect the world against mutants, and that they will use their new Sentinels run by Stark technology to do it. And he also promises that all of the mutants that are still on the run would either be deported to Mars, or they would go through a new procedure that Orcus has developed to take mutants' powers away. We then see Phylong, the new owner of Stark Industries and creator of the Stark Sentinels, meeting with the president. Phylong tells the president about some of the things that Orcus is doing to try to keep the people safe, supposedly, including putting lasers on the moon and sending War Machine Sentinels to Mars, now called Araco, to watch over the mutants that got deported and make sure that they don't come back. And then we see what is essentially a mutant concentration camp set up for all of the mutants that survived the Hellfire Gala. We then see Cyclops, after breaking his backs during the events of the Hellfire Gala, is being kept alive by Dr. Stasis, with his eyes sewn shut so he can't use his powers. Dr. Stasis is doing this in an attempt to get Scott to agree to go on TV and confirm everything Orcus is saying about mutant kind. We then see that the mutants that did survive the Hellfire Gala and are still free have set up in the tunnels under New York that used to be the home of the Morlocks. We see that Kate visits this base for rest, coming and going, but not really interacting with the rest of the team. And when she does come home, she usually reeks of blood. Synch, who's taken a leadership role in this group after the fall of many big-name X-Men at the Hellfire Gala, is concerned about Kate and wishes she would use her many years of experience to lead the team versus going off on her own. But Kate tells him that she would still prefer to be on her own. Kate then travels to Araco, or Mars, using the gates, as before the gala she was not able to use the Krakoan gates. But now that all the other mutants can't use the gates for whatever Orcus did to him, Kate can for some reason. So she's the only one able to use the Krakoan gates to travel from Mars to Earth back and forth. I'm sure this skill will play a large role in the overall story of the Fall of X. On Araco, we see the mutant refugees that were sent from the gala, and the state of things are not good. They're all caught up in a mutant civil war with Storm on one side and the ex-wife of Apocalypse, Genesis, on the other side. Kate finds one mutant named Woofer and instructs him to find all of the mutants on the planet and assess how much of a help they could be to defeating Orcus. We see Forge, who walked through one of the gates during the Hellfire Gala, get transported to the failing cells of the Children of the Vault, and he watches as the Krakoan technology that's keeping them trapped starts to fail because of what Orcus is doing, and he sees them escape. This leads to the new Children of the Vault comic that's also part of the Fall of X. We then see Emma Frost escorting Kamala Khan, or Miss Marvel, back to her home after the events of the Hellfire Gala and her revival, and telling Miss Marvel that she has always had an X gene. Emma tries to make it as easy as possible for Kamala to go back into her old life, and so she doesn't have to deal with being a mutant or dealing with Orcus. So Emma erases the death and superhero identity of Kamala from her family's minds. But Kamala says that even if she wasn't recently revealed to have an X gene, as well as being an Inhuman, she would still want to help the X-Men. So she dons her new X-Man suit and joins the other members in the tunnels below New York. We then see that Captain America has reformed the Avengers Unity Squad and are working with other non-captured mutants to fight Orcus. And that's going to be continued in Uncanny Avengers, also part of the Fall of X. After, when Kate and Emma are alone, Emma asks what happened to Kate at the Hellfire Gala. At the end of the Hellfire Gala comic, it's shown that Kate can now go through the Krakoan portals as she accidentally falls into one and then gets surrounded by Orcus agents. In this comic, it's revealed that after that happened, enraged by the loss of her friends and her home, she used the full ability of her training, even saying to the guards, "When you go to hell, tell Ogun I said hello," and then killing the entire team of guards on her own, not by knocking them out, but by brutally killing them, using her phasing powers to do some crazy things to these guys. In this action, she said that she killed the Red Queen and sobbed until she felt nothing, and once again became Shadowcat. And at the end of the comic, we see Shadowcat on her way to kill Firestar. Right before the mutants were sent away, Jean Grey used her powers to convince Dr. Stasis that Firestar was always part of her team, putting her in as a plant for the mutants. But nobody else knows that she's a plant. So the rest of the X-Men simply think she's a traitor and want to kill her. And that's why in the next comic, I'm sure we'll see the conflict between Shadowcat and Firestar arise. I really enjoyed this comic. I really enjoyed the Hellfire Gala comic, despite being somebody that's really only catching up with the X-Men comics now. My really original X-Men for me were the Fox X-Men and X-Men cameos in the 2010 Marvel animated shows like Ultimate Spider-Man and Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. So I really enjoy seeing a darker X-Men while still being able to live in a comic universe where they can really do whatever they want with the characters, versus being more limited like the character choices of the MCU. I really enjoyed Castelli's art in this issue. I felt it matched the darker vibe of the X-Men story they're trying to tell. And I love the Shadowcat suit and the sequence of Kate taking down the agents. I am very excited to see what happens next and how Kate's ability to go through the portals will play into the larger story. The next comic is Night Terrors Batman #2, written by Joshua Williamson, and excuse me if I mispronounce this, but drawn by Guillaume March, part of the Night Terrors event. It's $4.99 and came out the week of August 1st. The Night Terrors event is going on in DC right now, and a new villain, Insomnia, which got his powers from the Lazarus Rain event was able to put pretty much the entire world to sleep, minus a few people that his powers did not affect, like robots, and some people that were able to overpower him through magic or some other means. Insomnia is searching for the Nightmare Stone, the opposite of the Dream Stone, discovered by John Dee or Dr. Destiny. When he saw and discovered its power, he is said to have hidden it away in the nightmares of the DC heroes so no one will find it. So, wanting to get its power, Insomnia put all of the DC heroes to sleep to search through their nightmares and get the Nightmare Stone. For Batman's nightmare, he's stuck in the obvious situation the night his parents died, where he's now in the point of view of Joe Chill, his parents' killer. After he's forced to shoot his own parents, Bruce is attacked by his younger self, Insomnia, and gets beaten by swarms of little Bruces. Then, he uses the power of lucid dreaming against Insomnia and imagines a scenario where he has Superman's powers and simply flies away. Bruce flies to a place in his mind called the Black Door. Insomnia follows and assumes this is where the Nightmare Stone would be hidden if it were in Batman's mind, and attacks Bruce with one of his night terrors. Night terrors are personifications of fear made by Insomnia. This one specifically being a mix of a gun and a bat, two of the biggest symbols in Bruce's life. Insomnia then gets pulled away. It's revealed why in the main Night Terrors comic, and Bruce is left alone with the Night Terror. Bruce then defeats the Night Terror, ripping the gun off of the bat's face. I guess the no-kill rule doesn't really apply in dreams. And he walks through the Black Door to see little Bruce back in that alley, his parents laying still around him. Behind the Black Door is Bruce's true fear, that child back in that alley. It's revealed that Bruce waited there alone for 90 minutes before someone finally noticed him and got help, and it was in that time when he was all alone that he took his vow. Bruce feared the reaction that small boy would have to what he would become, of Batman. Would he be scared, proud, disappointed? Bruce talks to his inner child and says to him that while in this moment, right after tragedy, you may feel alone, you never truly will be. Bruce tells his inner child how he will find amazing, powerful friends who are bulletproof and alien, and he will have an amazing family of children who love and care about him. This pulls Batman to the light to find the dead man who had taken over his non-dream body at the beginning of this event to save him was gone. Bruce wakes up in Arkham Tower and sees Damian Wayne, aka Robin. Batman asks if this is the real world, and Damian says it is, but they lost to Insomnia. This story will be continued in Night Terrors 3 and 4. We also see a side story with Black Canary and Arsenal in their own nightmares. Arsenal is in a swamp, getting attacked by swampy, freakish versions of himself in his old costumes. When he attacks, because this is a nightmare, he misses every single one of his shots, and he thinks about what he truly fears, the life events he also missed in his life due to him being a hero. Black Canary's nightmare has the skin closing around her mouth so she can't scream or speak. Diana thinks about her true fear, not being heard or listened to by the people around her. Then they're both woken up from their nightmares by another force, and they see a storm of purple lightning coming towards them to finish off the story. This will be continued in Night Terrors Night's End. I really enjoyed this comic. There wasn't a ton of moving the event forward, but it was so cool and sweet to see Bruce comfort his inner child like that, and I hope elements from this tie-in will be used in the upcoming solo Batman comics. The art in this issue was great, it was so well crafted, the panels fit together beautifully, and I really loved the dream sequences. The next comic is Night Terrors Black Adam #2, written and drawn by Jeremy Juan, going for $4.99, and it released the week of August 1st. In Black Adam's nightmare, he finds himself in a distorted Kahndaq in the nightmare realm where he doesn't have full control over his powers. He gets turned from his powered to unpowered form against his will. When we last left Adam, he had just seen his wife and son getting eaten by some alligator man thing and then killed it. Then he sees Batman in an alleyway. When Batman comes down to talk to him, he realizes this isn't really Batman, but Deadman, one of the heroes who's unaffected by Insomnia's powers. Deadman shows himself to Adam and tells him what Insomnia has done to the world, but that those that are left have formed a team and are trying to fight him. And finally tells him to try to break free of Insomnia before quickly disappearing. Suddenly, Adam gets struck by lightning and is once again in his depowered Teth Adam form. And a strange talking cat named Bost, no relation to the Bost, walks into the alley. This cat appeared in the first issue of this tie-in, trying to help Adam. Bost says they had to continue on their journey through this distorted world. When walking with the cat, they come to find a room filled with thousands of bones, including what looks like his own corpse. Adam asks Boss if this is really him. Boss tells him hardly, and Adam steals the skeleton's cape for himself. When they walk up the stairs of this place, they see a creature ripping people's hearts out and bouncing them on a scale, then eating them. Adam attacks in his depowered form, only to be knocked away by the strength of this creature. Adam calls on his powers and destroys the entire tower with the lightning bolt and tells Boss that he's tired of these horrors and is going to the final tower of this nightmare to finish it all. In the last tower, he finds himself getting struck by lightning once again, this strike coming from the Rock of Eternity, floating over Kahndaq in this distorted realm. This depowers him and teleports him to the Rock of Eternity. Once there, he sees Wizard, the man who gave him, as well as Billy Batson, or Shazam, their powers, and as Wizard talks, he calls Adam a failure and says his weak slave form is more fitting for him. Wizard puts Adam in chains and says he is what he always has been, a slave. The cat then comes back out and merges with the now distorted, ugly Wizard to make some sort of skull creature. I'll be honest, I don't really read Shazam or Black Adam comics, so I don't have any idea what this thing is, but my best guess is it's simply a night terror of insomnias, if not something from Adam's past. The creature then tells Adam to say the words. He shouts Shazam and returns to his power form, although he still has a chain in his chest connected to the creature. Adam attacks the creature as it screams laughing at him, and he shouts Shazam over and over again, killing the creature and causing the Rock of Eternity to explode. Adam wakes up in the destroyed rubble of his home, Kahndaq, and he hears the laughter of the creature once again. It survived and is now in a new form. The creature laughs and tells Adam to come and see the nightmare, ending the comic. This will be finished in Night Terror's Night's End. Honestly, this comic was definitely not for me. I wanted to pick it up just to get all of the Night Terror's tie-ins, but the first issue was not super enjoyable for me, and this second issue was not much better. For me, it was just super confusing, not just for the fact I don't really know Black Adam comics. It felt all over the place. It didn't feel truly scary to Adam, like with Batman or even Black Canary or Arsenal. It just felt like Black Adam fighting horror creatures, and the stuff about his actual character kind of just got pushed to the side. I did actually like the art in this issue, however. The creatures were super detailed, and I liked how they were designed, as well as a lot of the distortions and horror things that they incorporated into Kahndaq. The next comic is Night Terror's Poison Ivy #2, and sorry if I mispronounce any of these, but written by G. Willow Wilson, penciled by Ategan Ihan, inked by Mark Morales, and colored by Arif Prieto. This tie-in doesn't really have anything to do with the actual Night Terror storyline. It's basically just Ivy and a character from Ivy's comics named Janet fighting to wake up from their dreams. In her nightmare, Ivy gets trapped in this doll-like world where everybody is always smiling, and she lives in a white picket fence neighborhood with her fellow Gothamites, having Harley Quinn be her wife, Batman and Catwoman as her neighbors, even Nightwing, Batgirl, and the Penguin. At this point in the comic, Harley has brainwashed Ivy. After she first found Harley, Ivy wanted to believe this dream was true so badly that when Harley kissed her, she was brainwashed by a yellow goo Harley transferred to her when they kissed. Ivy first breaks free when the wives get into a fight because there's a dandelion on their front yard. Harley tries to kill it. This makes Ivy realize that this isn't the real Harley. The real Harley wouldn't kill a dandelion. She would give it a name and talk to it, in Ivy's words. Ivy says she's going to escape this place and find her friend Janet, but not before Harley, as well as her neighbors, Batman and Catwoman, spray her with plant toxins to stop her. Janet finds herself in a dark basement where she sees the Penguin coming down to see her, and she digs through the wall to crawl out of the house through the side, right before Penguin and now Batgirl try to stop her. Janet runs through the freakish neighborhood searching for Ivy and finds her laying alone and weak on her kitchen floor. And once Janet is finally able to get Ivy on her feet, they are attacked by all the Gothamites. As Ivy tries to attack them with her plants, she finds in this realm nothing's able to grow in the soil, so her attacks are ineffective. But she gets so angry that she rips Batman's mask off to find her own face under it. Then, as the dream world shakes, Ivy says, "I think I broke something," as the dream folds in on itself and collapses, and both Ivy and Janet wake up. It doesn't seem to be concluding in Night's End. It just says, "Next, just running some errands." I'm not entirely sure what the point was of making this a tie-in comic with the Night Terror event. I feel like they probably just could have done this somehow with Poison Ivy on her own as a prequel comic to this series that's coming up with her, but, I'm sure they just wanted to stick her in there because, this is going to be a very popular event and they want to promote Poison Ivy's new comic. But I enjoyed the story of this comic overall, despite it not being really a part of the Night Terrors event, and I loved the art of this comic even more. The distorted Ivy in Wonderland look was perfect and super eye-catching. The final comic of this video is Night Terrors Joker #2, written by Matthew Rosenberg, drawn by Stefano Raffaelli, and colored by Romulo Fajardo Jr., at $4.99, coming out the week of August 1st. In the first issue, Joker's fear is as obvious as Batman's is. Batman dies. Joker isn't even really the one to do it either. Joker dodges Batman's lunge, and Batman simply trips and falls off of a roof to his death. Joker tried to keep doing crime, but he didn't enjoy it, and he fell into a deep depression without Batman, eventually getting an office job at Wayne Enterprises. And when Joker tries to cause chaos, as Joker does, killing someone, joking about the fact, wearing a bomb vest to work, but Joker's actions faze no one. They just think it's a prank or something. This makes Joker very upset, so one night, after work, after leaving the bar and drinking his troubles away, Joker gets mugged by some thugs, and sees that his old goon, Gaggy, joined with this group after leaving Joker. The next day, one person in the office says there's been a Batman sighting. Joker spits out his coffee in surprise and goes home, and we see him sitting in front of the TV with his feet up in a recliner and Batman's dead body in a closet behind him. To start issue 2, we see a robbery when Batman swoops in and says a joke and takes out the thugs by stabbing them in the arms, legs, and eyes with batarangs. We then see this new Batman's face lit up in fire, and we see a white chin, red lips, and purple and green eyes. Joker wakes up in a family home, now with a wife and son that are both bald and have white skin like Joker. We see Joker get up and ask his son, who woke them up, if he wants his famous clown pancakes before they leave for the boys' practice. We then see Joker interviewing possible new employees for Wayne Enterprises, such as Mr. Freeze and Scarecrow, and Mr. Freeze says that many villains are now looking for normal jobs as Batman has started to kill, but Joker denies this and says that Batman is dead. We see Joker waking up from the bed with his wife to go put on the Batman suit, saying this city is a beautifully dead corpse. Bat Joker finds a woman being robbed by none other than Gaggy and 2 Joker goons, and he kills the goons before turning Gaggy's bat against his own head. This moves over to see a baseball getting hit at a company baseball game, Wayne Enterprises versus LexCorp. We see Joker and Bruce Wayne on the Wayne team, and Lex Luthor and Jimmy Olsen on the Lex team. Jimmy compliments Joker on a hit, and makes a joke that they should call him the Batman, referring to a baseball bat. So of course, Joker chokes Jimmy out for this, killing him, hating just hearing the words the Batman. When Joker is kicked off of the field, Bruce Wayne finds him and invites him for dinner at Wayne Manor that night. When Joker arrives, we see that this Bruce Wayne is not ours, as he's wearing the same outfit Joker did when he shot and paralyzed Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl. At dinner, Bruce tells Joker that a piece of Joker died when Batman died, leaving him to need to fill the role of Batman once again. Then, we flash to a meeting Joker is in with Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow, Solomon Grundy, and Scarface. When some random employee calls Joker a nut job, Joker stabs him repeatedly with a pencil in the chest. For this, the boss asks if Joker is okay, and Joker replies with, "It was nothing. I was just being silly." When he goes home, Joker finds his son staring at Batman's corpse, asking, "Dad, what's this?" before Joker slams the door shut and ignores his wife and son when they ask what was in it. Joker then leaves to go think at a bar. He thinks that if Batman is alive, then things are okay. So he himself must prove that Batman really is still around. So he breaks into a hardware store to find the chemicals to make Joker toxin. And he pays someone to fake a mugging just to show up as Batman and fight the mugger off. When Joker gets to the mugging, it turns out the man he paid got tons of people all dressed in clown makeup to come attack Joker. When Joker tries to escape, as he sees them setting off the Joker toxin given to them by Joker himself. He tries to get away, but the face paint of the attackers stick to him, and they set the Joker toxin off, killing everybody. That's when Joker wakes up in the real world. Surrounded by other villains, he asks if that was just a nightmare. He then proceeds to tell everybody to shut up and that he's going back to bed, with it ending there. I really liked this issue and how it went into what a true nightmare would be like for the Joker. And it was so weird seeing him get angry when his madness and him trying to cause chaos does nothing. And him even splitting his personality to become Batman and Joker at the same time is a very interesting concept. I also really love the look of Joker in the office settings and the Joker's design in this tie-in. Both normal Joker and Bat Joker. That's going to be it for this first video here. If you like the stuff that was featured in this video, the action figures, the comics, or the Legos, that's some of the type of content that I will be posting. So if you liked this video and want to see more content like that, please like, comment, and subscribe. Keep coming back to Kobe's Collectibles, Comics, and Legos. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.